Wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are, on this very planet that Chukwokika Biama created to his glory. We welcome you to another explosive exposition of the very fraudulent contraption, the very diseased abomination that the British created for the enslavement of the children of light. We have come to destroy. We have come to render asunder. We have come to decimate that very tower of darkness, that very zoological republic, that very cesspit of iniquity and of evil. We have come that the blind may see. We have come that the deaf may hear. We have come that even those who, through no fault of theirs, but as a result of having subjected themselves to a very disastrous educational system in the zoo, they have become stupid. Here we have come to enlighten and to educate, without any apologies to anybody, without mincing words, without fear before our enemies, determined and resolute, indestructible, undeflectable. There is nothing the enemy can do. Our course is straight. We are on autopilot, I can assure you. And the precipitous collapse of the zoo is inevitable. Absolutely inevitable. The devil may try all it can. Those who go before them to peddle falsehood, those who go to work for them, those who are the workers of darkness and of iniquity, we can assure them that we are resolute, we are determined, and there is nothing anybody can do to stop this very unstoppable movement. Invade as many times as you like, kill as many people as you like, propagate falsehood after falsehood as many times as you like, buy up every media space in the zoo, go and connive with people in the diplomatic circles abroad, hire every highbrow consultancy firm in the world, select some diplomats in the zoo and bribe them, Select those you send to the key countries around the world. None of these things you're doing is capable of stopping us. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you write. It doesn't matter the type of chatter you have behind our backs. All those things you're doing is a complete and utter waste of time, because Biafra must come. There is nothing anybody can do about it. That is why we preach this gospel. That is why we propagate this very message of redemption. That is why Elohim said that Biafra will come. You will not fire a bullet, but Biafra. They will never, ever, ever in their lives forget. It does not matter what the enemy does, is irrelevant. Buy over Twitter, buy over Facebook, bribe the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, bribe the US ambassador to Nigeria, go to the department in America, go to Nigeria, go to the State Department in America, dollar money on them, go to Europe and bribe them. Spend all your dollar money on them, go to Europe and bribe them to issue a eulogy. It does not matter. Let me tell you something this evening before I even bother to introduce myself. Biafra is unstoppable. Unstoppable, because this very movement is guided from heaven. From heaven. If you like, come out tomorrow and write. Over my dead body will Biafra come, and see what will happen to you. Just try it tomorrow morning. This movement will destroy Nigeria completely beyond recognition, beyond every iota of recognition. Everything that you call Nigeria will be evaporated. Everything that you associate with the zoo, Nigeria, will be completely obliterated from the face of the earth. As I speak, you write it down on a piece of paper. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, regardless of where you are domiciled. This very transmission this evening in Biafra land, because for some people it is their morning, for others it is their afternoon, for some others it is their night, or for some it is very early in the morning for them, is being listened to around the whole world. Everywhere there is humanity, the whole world is listening. The entire planet is listening, because they know that we speak the truth. We call it the way it is. Man cannot be stronger than God in heaven. That is why we have come, that the kingdom of God may descend down to this very earth, to the very center of the universe. That is why we preach this very gospel, unapologetically, the way that we do. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. And by the very special grace of Elohim, I will continue to serve the wonderful people of Biafra until the end of time. Of course, my job is to restore Biafra, and after that I'm done. But I will continue to pray for Biafra ceaselessly. Every blessed day of my life, and 7 times a day I do that. It will never stop until the day I draw my last breath. What we are involved in is beyond the knowledge of For others it is their afternoon, for some others it is their night. You have to be in the groove, in the spirit, to understand what we are doing, or else you'll be lost. Of course it is lost. This evening, the time now is exactly 12 minutes past 7 p.m. in the land of Biafra. And the same number of minutes past the top of the hour, regardless of where you are on this very planet. This very broadcast is threat to the whole of humanity. And this very evening, we will render the zoo asunder. Complete decimation, line by line decimation. We are taking down Asorok, brick by brick. They are tampering with our lines once again. I don't understand this. I honestly do not understand what is happening, but we are propagating this very gospel regardless. They are trying the best they can. They are doing the best they can, but they cannot prevail. That I can assure you. Because eventually only the strong can stand. Only the strong is going to stand. And they will bear witness to Biafra. They will testify in this very land of the living that Elohim in heaven, the Lord of hosts, he was with his children in their time, and Biafra came as a physical manifestation that God in heaven has for those that he made. That is what Biafra represents. This evening we preach it. The gospel of redemption, the gospel of heaven, the gospel of heaven. We are unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable this evening. As we tear the zoo apart, we render them asunder. We are going to start, of course, by praying. We must commit all that we do to the hands, very capable hands of Elohim. Because we speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Hear this very gospel of heaven that we preach. Is inspiration that we got from heaven. And this evening we pray, we must bow our heads in prayer wherever we are. Any day they want us to tell them exactly why we do things the way we do, we shall inform them. But for now we must pray. Our Lord God in heaven, you deal with the sons of men according to their righteousness, according to the cleanness of their hearts and their minds. That is how you reward your creation. Before we embarked upon this very journey, we knelt and we prayed before your holy temple in Israel, in Jerusalem to be precise. You gave us word from heaven, and you said if we keep to your ways, if we do not turn from you, if we recognize that you are the creator of everything that we see around us, if we confess that there is no other God apart from one indivisible God, that Biafra will come, you will bless this very generation, this very evening, before the congregation of humanity all over the world listening. As we promised you we will do morning, noon, and night, we proclaim your goodness, that there is no other God before thee. We have not turned away from your decrees. We cannot say that we are blameless, for we are flesh. Every flesh always sin against thee, O Heavenly Father. Please have mercy upon us. The land of Biafra is under siege. The enemies are converging from every corner. The workers of iniquity are doing the best they can to derail this very movement that you ordained in heaven. But you asked us to remain very steadfast and very still, never to retreat nor surrender. That we must continue to march on, because what we are doing, mere human beings cannot understand it. Therefore, we have remained faithful to your words. Therefore, we submit ourselves unto thee. Therefore, we beg and we plead, we cry, and we ask that you have mercy upon us and give us Biafra. For we shall keep this very lamp burning You have turned darkness into light. For through IPOB, through this very radio Biafra, light has come into not only Biafra, but the whole of Africa. For your truth will be preached, and your glory, your love upon our lives manifest in the coming of Biafra. That is why we do not see any enemy. That is why we do not encounter any obstacle that you cannot surmount. That is why every glory and every adoration, that is why every praise and every honor belong to thee and not to any man nor woman. Now and forevermore we pray. He say, heaven is bearing us witness as we preach this evening. And you must listen very carefully. And those of you on Twitter, you must also be prepared to what they call multitasking. You will multitask this evening. We are now going to plant the dynamite underneath Astor Villa. Of course, metaphorically speaking, we are going to plant the dynamite under Astor Villa from tonight. And then at the appointed time, I will press the button. The zoo cannot survive. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter who they consult. It doesn't matter who their native doctor is. It doesn't matter who their babalawo is. It doesn't matter the countries they feel are behind them. One thing is inescapable. The zoo must fall. It must fall because it should not have existed in the first place. And when I said this before, allow me to repeat very clearly to the hearing of those who are discerning enough. When I say that Nigerians are animals, I am referring to everybody that subscribe to the life view that a white man can come from Europe and create a country in Africa, but at the same time, no African can travel to Europe to create a country. I want you to understand the basis of our agitation, why we do what we do. Why anybody who is sensible, anybody who is reasonable, anybody who is discerning enough, anybody that has conscience, there is no way you can refer to yourself as a Nigerian, because as soon as you do that, as soon as you open your mouth to say you are a Nigerian, you have at least, before those who are reasonable enough, those that have shame, a bit of dignity and class, you have reduced yourself to nothing. Because Nigeria was not created by God. I keep saying this all the time. Go and Google it. Who created Nigeria? You will see the name Frederick Lugard. Also go and Google who created USA, who created Canada, who created Germany, who created France, who created Spain. You will see the reason why Africa is backwards. We have no self-esteem because we have no shame. There is no shame before our eyes. We are the ones that belittled ourselves. We are the ones that told the whole world we are animals. We are the ones insulting ourselves by our failure to comprehend, our failure to reason, our failure to understand, and our failure to at least accept that we have the same reasoning capacity or capability like any other race on the face of this very earth. That is why when we preach this very gospel, people must be very, very careful and follow us sequentially. You must be able to follow from the beginning. You must be able to follow from the beginning. You cannot tell me that you see yourself as an equal of a white man, an Asian, a Latino, anybody at all in the world. And you're sitting in your house in your village, and somebody will travel for nearly 4,000 miles come into your village and say, oh, from today, your name is no longer Ibeku. You're now called Omoahe. I can't understand it. Are you telling me that I can travel to Germany and say to them now Westphalen should be known as Amokeleke? Is that what you're telling me? Somebody left Europe, came to your land, and saw you watch a very beautiful place and said now we call it Port Harcourt. And some people are saying it is Port Harcourt, and I'm looking at them and I'm wondering what God made you. Don't you have shame? You don't have any shame. Are you telling me that we can travel to England and say we want to create a Port Wike or Port Hamechi? Is that what you're telling me? Or Port India? Is that what you're explaining to me? You want me to believe that you can come to Europe and name a waterway? Your name is that possible? Is that they will slaughter? In fact, they will even say you're not well. They will put injection into your body and dump you in a mental home. Now you understand it, don't you? Do you see why we do what we do? Not that we hate anybody, but anybody that says, I am a Nigerian, believe you me before God and man, that person is not a human being. It means that you are named the same way that anybody will name their dog, the same way that anybody will name a pet that they have. Is that what your... Ghana changed their name from Gold Coast to Ghana. Upper Volta changed their name as well. What is wrong with you people that you cannot reason? It is there in the... Go to Google and Google it. How can a man create you? A fellow man create you? Because you're inferior. You are racially inferior because you hate yourself so much that a white man from Europe has to come to give you an identity. That is the basis of every problem in Africa. We did not draw up our own boundaries. Other people did it for us. But the same people that did it for you, they can't allow you to do the same thing for them. Ask yourself this question. Why is that so? Any day you answer that question, any day you get up in the morning and you say, why is it that with engineering department as the nearest university, because there is no university that has no, that you don't have an engineering department in it. Everywhere. I'll give you an example. You know what? You have nearly 5 high institutions. Futo, IMSU, the College of Technology, I think is in Nekede somewhere as well. You have Alvan Ikoku, and then you have it used to be called School of Agri-Economics. 5. Listen carefully to what I'm saying, so that people around the world can understand where the stupidity of a black man starts from. It is not the white man that is making Africa poor. It is our stupidity and inability to comprehend, to reason very well. And I'll prove it to you. Every school in and around Imo State has an engineering department. In other words, every university in Nigeria has an engineering department. Now, ask yourself this question. In those universities, they have chemical engineering department. They have civil engineering department. They have, it's called water technology, or is it water engineering, they call it? They have all these things. Engineering departments. One of them is electricity. But you don't have any electricity anywhere around you. You all use generating sets. Ask yourself that question again. Of what purpose, therefore, is there for all these universities to have engineering departments then? It's simple common sense, isn't it? I will repeat. Ask yourself that question again. How come, I'm asking you, how come ordinary engineering department in 5 universities within a, should I say, a geographical space of, about 20 square miles, yet inside that town, there is no running water. Inside that town, people are homeless because civil engineers are not building any houses. Inside that town, there are no passable roads because civil engineers are not building roads. Inside that same town, there is no sewage system. In fact, there is nowhere in the zoo called Nigeria that you have a proper sewage system. What you have is soak away that contaminates the water table. You draw it up with your sumo from your borehole, you drink contaminated water, and when you get sick, you start looking for a pastor, you start paying people to pray for you. Do you see the chain of what I call it chain of stupidity in us? That chain is what IPOB is breaking. That chain is what Radio Biafra is here to make people understand that your problem lies in your brain, nowhere else. You cannot blame a white man for your problem. We cannot blame the Chinese. We cannot blame the French. Nobody. Our problem is in our brain, the way we reason. That is our problem. That's what we're here to correct. And how do you correct it? You go to the source. What is the source of the problem? The source of the problem is Nigeria, as it is presently constituted. That is the problem. And we are here to render it asunder. How are we going to do that? Sequentially, step by step. Complete demolition. How are we going to? In fact, I was delighted before we came on air this very evening that there are some Yorubas, I'm glad to say, who are still, should I say, very, who have remained very consistent. Let me put it that way. There is a particular Yoruba leader, a Yoruba man. I like him. Him and now, before used to be Paya de Banjo and a few others. Now I've added this very man, Professor Akintoye. I want to pronounce it correct. Professor Akintoye. Do you know what he said? You know, one thing about truth is that truth is always constant. It never changes. The thing about truth is, it never ever deviates. It is always constant. Always constant. It never deviates. No matter how you try it, it is always there. That is why I like people who are consistent. Not hot in the morning, cold in the evening. Activist in the morning and a pizza in the evening. I don't believe in that. You have to be consistently consistent. Do you know what Professor Akintoye said? I'm reading from Zoo Publications. I'll read this very news for you before I delve into it. The Yoruba World Congress YWC on Monday rubbished the several empathies for Abba Kyari, the late chief of staff to President Muhammadu Buhari. The body labeled Kyari as Nigeria's de facto president. Exactly what I've been saying. I never knew that there are some Yorubas not only who are thinking what we are thinking, but having the courage. That is the key, is having the courage to stand up to say what needs to be said, as this very professor did. If Abba Kyari, going by what the professor said, is a de facto president, that means you have no president in the first place, or you just have a figurehead or a ceremonial head. That's all you have, which you, of course, you have in Jubril. As Abba Kyari was exercising, they say, oh, but the man is dead, why don't you leave him? The typical black African way of reasoning. That is why we are poor. Any day you think what we are saying through, why don't we have light? Why don't we have running water? Why don't we have hospitals? Why don't we have good schools? Any day you think about this, don't blame anybody, not man. Go back to your brain and ask yourself, am I analyzing these problems properly? Am I contextualizing them properly? Because if you have a problem, as the whole world is doing now, you've identified a virus. It's a cold virus, COVID-19. It attacks the lungs and sometimes the heart. You sit down, you begin to ask yourself, how do we deal with this? People talk about vaccine. We give people some care for the time being and then vaccine. That is how people think strategically. The problem with black people is that we do not think strategically. But here on Radio Biafra, in this new land of Biafra we're going into, everybody, not just the leader, everybody must be wise and be able to discern, be able to reason. Let me continue to read out this statement from this Yoruba body. Our position is that Nigeria is being run as a banana republic, a country in which the structure of government depends on the whims and caprices of the leader of the government. Are you following? The Yoruba leader, this is Professor Akintoye, described as outrageous and unacceptable that appointed or not elected, appointed office holders were subjected to the absurdity of having to go through the office of the chief of staff to see the president. Complete absurdity. Absurd. Because people do not understand the meaning of democratic accountability. The people you hold responsible when something goes wrong are those you voted for. If they don't do what you ask them to do, you vote them out. Do you understand? That is why the president you elect is the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. Do you know the reason why? Because if something goes wrong, you hold him responsible. You don't vote for the chief of army staff. You don't vote for the chief of naval staff. You don't vote for the chief of Air Force or whatever they call them. Do you understand why the Greeks said that power belongs to the people, government of the people, for the people and by the people? Do you understand the meaning of it? It means that those we are going to hold accountable are those we actually elected. If something goes wrong, we go and grab them. That is why it is wrong. It's not even done anywhere. Only in a banana republic like the zoo called Nigeria, that you have somebody saying, I am the chief of, you know, some idiots that went to maybe Adebayo University in Kanu, all these Almajiri universities that have nothing in their brain. They come and say, but it's a powerful position. He is the gateway to the president. He's the gatekeeper. And oh my God. Incredulity overwhelms me. It's absolutely bizarre that somebody can go to a university, come out with a degree, and you're saying that the chief of staff is the gateway, is the gatekeeper to the president, he's powerful. Hey, which lecturer taught you that nonsense? I would like to know the name of the lecturer. I just want to know. Do you see why we call Nigeria a zoo? Now do you begin to understand? I am very, very happy that this Yoruba World Congress, and my only fear is that I hope they remain consistent. Not tomorrow night they start saying something different. Just please be consistent. I beg of you. He went on to say, you are asking a governor that was elected by millions of people, ministers and ambassadors, to go through somebody who was not elected, to the collective embarrassment of the vice president. Yemi Osinbajo no longer exists, and people are moving about as if everything is normal. These are intellectuals, or should I say sophisticated morons, that have no brain. You are in a country where the office of the vice president no longer exists. He's being held hostage. Osinbajo is being held hostage, infected with COVID-19 and being held hostage against his wishes. And nobody is asking. Every idiot is fixated on who's going to be the chief of staff. Chief of staff to the president is only Buhari. How about your vice president? Where is he? Nobody's asking any questions. Because they are in the damnable zoological republic. When we call them a zoo country, they don't understand it. But we call you a zoo country for a reason, and with good reason. A chief of staff is no more than the head of the president's kitchen cabinet. You are not supposed to be seen. Now, let me ask you, if you think that what Abakari was doing is good, who was the chief of staff of President Olusegun Obasanjo? Simple. Who was the chief of staff of, Bill Clinton? Chief of staff of Obama, can you remember them? Who is the chief of staff of, or who was chief of staff of Jonathan? Or even Yaradua? Do you know? Some of you are now running to Google to go and Google it. No, tell us. I will then prove to you this evening that even European Union, who have some of them been eating the oil money from Biafra land, being bribed by the Fulani cabal, that they know. I'm going to prove tonight that even EU knows that Buhari is dead. And they kept quiet because of what they're getting. Germany is keeping quiet because Siemens is getting money, free money. They are quiet, of course, because Julius Berger is packing money by shipload every month and bringing it to Germany. That's why they are quiet. If you're foolish, are you going to blame them? Is it their fault that you're so daft? It's not their fault. It is not the fault of Germany. It is your fault. How many, I keep asking Nigerians, the problem is that they never answer the question. How many, somebody please Google it for me and tell the whole world. How many civil engineering departments do you have in Nigeria? That's number one question. Two, how many civil engineering professors that are only good at rigging election for illiterates? Look at somebody wearing a gown, I say dumb, reading out election results for somebody without work certificate. Can you believe such nonsense? And tomorrow you'll be complaining, oh, we don't have light, oh, heat is killing us, there is no way, this country, who did we offend? Can you imagine how you're reasoning? You offended yourself. Your brain offended the rest of your body because your brain failed to engage with reason. That's all. You didn't offend anybody. Your brain failed to engage with reason. That's all. That's who you offended. Your brain offended the rest of your body because you are not able to reason and think properly. I am grateful to this Yoruba group so that people can no longer come around and say, oh, Nnamdi Kanu, every time he's talking, he's... The people saying that Nnamdi Kanu is always talking all the time. You know, I love criticism. I love it very much. I love it. Heaven knows. I love it. You're talking already. But you go to listen to fraudulent pastors, don't you? No, you go on Monday. You attend a service on Sunday. You sow seed. On Monday, you go for Shiloh. You water it. On Wednesday, you go for 30 night. You weed it. On Wednesday, you go for plant watch night to watch it grow. Until another Saturday, you pay your tithe. Every blessed day. Some of you have been doing this thing for nearly 40, 50 years. You're not tired of your pastor. You're tired of the people that are trying to bring you out of your own self-inflicted, self-induced stupidity into the light for you to have brain. Now tell me who is stupid. All your pastors that are frying their hair, rubbing bleaching cream, you've not seen them. Every Sunday you listen to them. Every Sunday, every week, they're on television. They're in the pulpit talking rubbish. Absolute gibberish. That's why I like Bishop Koka of Sokoto. For many years, all of you're speaking in tongues, talking jazz, claiming you're speaking in tongues. Send the Bible. That's how you know them. Idiots. You can't listen. You're speaking in tongues. You're not tired of listening to the baboon speaking in tongues. You're tired of listening. They're typical black people. They never, when they see the light, they fall inside bush. They see the road, they say, no, bush is better for us. They see light, they say, no, we prefer darkness. I've not even started. And you think if you say it, I will stop. Hey, you're talking too much. When is this your Biafra coming again? And I read a very funny comment today on my page. Somebody asked the person, why don't you ask yourself when you stop flushing the toilet with bucket and use the WC instead? Is to be asking Nnamdi Kanu, when is this your thing? When are we going to see it? I'm asking you, when are you going to stop using generator? Like every other civilized people do. When will you stop using generator? When will you stop drinking water from borehole? You can't answer. But you want me to answer you. You see how daft they are. That's why I said I sometimes I wish and I pray that they engage me in a debate openly so I can decimate them. I am grateful to Professor Akintoye and also a man called Adeyemi Adeleye, the Director of Communications. I thank them for raising this very issue because the rest of the zoo, they kept thinking maybe there is something wrong with IPOB, there is something wrong with Nnamdi Kanu. The world can now say that the zoo called Nigeria is not a banana republic for nothing. The people inside it, they don't reason very well. They can't, they are not critical of themselves. A chief of staff is a mere political appointee, not elected by the people. Not elected by the people. That's something you must know. So he has no constitutional position. He has no position. There is no position in your constitution that says somebody has to be a de facto president. It's just because they don't want to lose power. We lost out during Yaradua, and now you gave us Buhari again. We no go agree, or we no go agree. That's all. Atiku knows what is happening. Who in Nigeria doesn't know that Buhari is dead? They all know. Even the EU. And I'll prove it later on. They all know. Why are they not doing something about it? Because they realize there is a saying where we come from, which means when the country is very bad, it's only the cabal will be enjoying. If you talk too much from Europe, they'll call it to one side and they will put $1 million in your account. You're a civil servant in EU. You've not seen money before. 1 million from a few monkeys in Africa. Why won't you be having fun? I said it the last time. That is what is happening. Yeah, some of them, these are the diplomats. They are from UNESCO. They are from World Health. He's an American ambassador. Some of them are very corrupt. Look at the American ambassador that is not corrupt. John Campbell. Go and check. He's been banned from entering into Nigeria. Some people said, "Oh, but John Campbell was corrupt." I said to them, if he is, the zoo would have released his data. He was banned from entering Nigeria. Ambassador John Campbell, former U.S. ambassador to the zoo called Nigeria. Anytime somebody is in good times with something that is evil, a decaying, corrupt government, you know there's something wrong with that very person. That is why when you see people that speak the truth, men of honor that speak the truth, they are always consistent. They never change. They never change. If you like them all, fine. You hate them all, that is your business. But they are always on it, because eventually posterity will judge you. We are not here to make, we are not in Biafra to make friends. You just to get Biafra. And to let Africans understand that there is a way you can reason. And that qualifies you as a human being. Any other way, you're a bushmeat. I'm grateful to this very group, this very Yoruba group, for actually standing up and speaking out. I commend them immensely. Abba Kyari was buried a few days ago. There are some people in the zoo called Nigeria that keep saying, "Oh, but Buhari is there. Is Buhari to decide?" They know there is no Buhari, but they keep saying it. Because if they keep saying it, over and over again, the gullible will just absorb it. And I want people to understand the reason why. I said it before, allow me to elaborate today. The reason why this very issue of Jubril is not making the wave it's supposed to make is very simple. Just like Africa is held down, that is how they are holding us down. They don't want the truth to prevail. People have their own tiny agenda as to why they should sit and suppress the truth. All of them, they pretend they love you, but they don't. I've said it many, many times. I am praying and hoping that people like this very Yoruba World Congress and the likes of Professor Kintoye and Adeleye, they will come out more to speak the truth, as Paya Deboja has been doing, to consistently, without change, to speak the truth consistently. People don't want Biafra to be free. Those that the British brought, a very clever job they did. Do you know how I know these things? Go and look at they tell you, oh, Nigeria has 250 tribes. I was going through it a few days ago. Do you know what I discovered? They said that Eche is a tribe. They said that Ebema is a different tribe from Igbo. It's written officially, and that is what they have, all over the world. In diplomatic circles, that, oh, Nigeria has 250 tribes, it's very difficult, and in that very 250 tribes, there is a subgroup called the Ebema people. Do you know about a group called Ebema before? Eche, ordinary Eche that is Igbo land. Let me tell people what they don't know. There is Afara in Eche. Afara, where I come from. The same way we are in Mbitolu, in Imo State, the same way we are in Anambra, in Abagana, the same way we are all the way from the source, which is Anambra, to the sea. Afara is everywhere, where I come from. There is Afara in Eche. Somebody sat in their office in Lagos, probably filled with self-hate and tribalism, decided, oh, the best thing for us to do, let's divide these people, let's say that the Ebema is a tribe. And they submitted these documents to diplomats all over the world. You go to a diplomat and you say to them, but please now, my people we are from Ebema. Isn't it? Oh no, there's another people called a woman. Can you believe such rubbish? That is the bastardization, not just of your essence as a human being, but of your way of life, of your being. You as a human being destroyed and reduced to nothing. That is what they do. That is what they have done. And that is what they will continue to do. There is no game they will not play. There is no game they will not play to try to debase what we are doing. But they know how resolute we are. Where are we going to stop? The answer is no. So why are you wasting your time? We are beyond frustration. For everybody that goes for Facebook as well, we are beyond you can't now. Tomorrow, if I have it, I will still come back to broadcast. I will. Well, what are you going to do to stop us? Absolutely nothing. It is now to the understanding of everybody that there is no Buhari in Asorok. I told you before this whole thing started to unfold that dummy they have wearing Buhari mask in Asorok cannot speak. That was what I said. In my 3 broadcasts ago, I said it live on air. No matter what you do, the dummy in Asorok will not talk. All he does is every morning, if there's a meeting to be held, now that there's no Champions League football, he will put on his face mask. He'll be waving at the camera. Femi Additional's crew will be filming him, waving at the camera, smiling. He's wearing a hyper-reality Buhari face mask. And I told you he cannot speak. If this man, how can a whole EU speak? EU speak. How come the man inside Asorok, you claim is Buhari, how come he's not talking? How come, just to come out on television and say, oh, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Abakiari just passed. I condole with the family. He cannot say it. Because I said it before. The other one is trapped in Cuba. I said it many, many times. There were some people saying, I remember they wanted to get him to speak on Monday. Today is Monday, isn't it? Yes, today. Go and check it in Premium Times newspaper. Once they know that IPOB have seen it and they withdrew it, go to Premium Times and type in Buhari to address Nigerians on 20th. It is no longer there. They removed it. Why did they remove it? Because they know I'm coming on air. You speak, and I will come and I will destroy this you. I will tear you apart. Go and do broadcast. Let's see. That thing inside us wrong. Go and do broadcast now. Go and do broadcast. Let's see you. When some cockroaches we are saying, oh, but he's in Lagos, in a military hospital, and I look at those tramps, that's what I call it, and I laugh. They know nothing. Have you seen the airline that flew the body into Abuja, they claim? Where is the airline from? Have you seen the foreign airline? So that now there's a new airline operating from Lagos to Abuja. A special airline that no one has ever seen before. They think we are stupid. They bring out idiots, noisemakers on social media to be writing garbage. Look at the grave they dug for Abakiari. Even an infant, and a baby that died in the mother's stomach. Was that even up to 2 feet? They dug for somebody who is carrying a contagion. You dug a grave that is so shallow that an ordinary shibio running around, a cat can dig it out. Is that what you're telling me? Are you people well at all? Are your thinking faculties functioning at all? Are they functioning at all? I ask you. Unbelievable. Inside Asorokna is an actor, but he cannot speak. I am waiting for him. And God knows, any day he opens his mouth, I will viscerate him live. Let him go and speak. I will analyze him frame by frame of his video. That shame will not allow them to bring him out again. They know he cannot speak. Your friend is dead, you did not speak. People are dying of hunger. You cannot address your name and you say you're president. Hey! President of Bakwok, you people you make me sick. Here we try to make you to reason. Are people that blind? If that thing in Asorok is Buhari, get him to address the people. He cannot. Get him to answer questions from journalists. He cannot. Ask him what is your name. He cannot remember. And you say it's Buhari. And then, has anyone been able to come up with the name of Jonathan's chief of staff? Or Obasanjo had a very colorful regime? Or Obasanjo's chief of staff, do you know him? The answer is no. You don't know because it is an inconsequential position. It's just like my diary keeper. I have a diary secretary that tells me where I'm supposed to visit around the world and when. Reminds me of the time. That is Abba Kyari's job before he died. People are just dumb. Dumb. And how do I know? They keep asking me. Oh, but how do you know? And I want people to understand, when I speak, please try to follow what I'm saying logically and sequentially. Please, I beg of you, try to follow what I'm saying logically. Listen carefully to the headline from Vanguard. EU mourns Kyari, says he was passionate about developing Nigeria, especially the North. I will come to his tribalistic tendencies later on. Follow these things very, very carefully, please. The European Union delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS has mourned the passing of late Chief of Staff to the President Muhammad Buhari, who is Abba Kyari. In a condolence message by Ambassador Ketil Carlson, head of the EU delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, the EU expressed sadness at the demise of the statesman. Hey, Aro. Ordinary Chief of Staff. Not the president, not the vice, not the Senate president, not the Speaker of the House. Because the man has been bribed. They are all benefiting from a corrupt Nigeria. All of them, they are big time, they are benefiting. They are eating large. That's what they do. Hey, now listen. Carlson, EU, mind you, EU. Carlson described Kyari as an inspiration to many. Where did you meet him? He is supposed to be in the kitchen cabinet inside Aso Rock, managing Buhari's meeting. Huh? Where did you meet him? So when you come to Aso Rock, you come to see Abba Kyari, you no longer go to see the president, you come to see. How do you know he's an inspiration? Where? Which meeting did you attend with him? Hey. Let's continue to read his message. I am saddened to hear about the passing of Abba Kyari. My thoughts are with his family. He became a friend and was an inspiration with his passionate approach to the development of Nigeria in general and the North in particular. He was a Northerner. He wanted the North to do very well. He was actually from what is called, what's that name again? He's from this very tribe that is called something Arab. He is not Kanu. He's something Arab. His tribe is different. And since his appointment as Chief of Staff to the President in 2015, Abba Kyari was a major player in Nigeria's central government until he died. And I'm asking anybody who has any brain cells left in their brain, who is a Nigerian and who is listening. And where else in the world have you heard about the Chief of Staff to a President described in these terms? Where have you seen them before? Where on this earth have you heard about that before? If you look very closely to what is happening during the burning of Abba Kyari a few days ago, you will see the real cabal, the real criminals running the zoo. Ismail Issa Funtua was there. Ali, what's his name again? I think it's Nda was there. And the other one as well, I've forgotten his name. Bello was there. The FCT chairman, they were all there, plotting on how to proceed. Issa Funtua owns the largest construction firm in Africa. These were the criminals under Shehu Shagari. He stole so much money. And now he pushes the agenda of the North. You ask him, well, excuse me, sir, you are a politician. How come you acquired the largest construction firm in the whole of Africa? He cannot tell you. He'll tell you Nigeria is sweet. And you tell him that such a person will sit down one day and would not want to pass over Nigeria to his children and his grandchildren to continue enjoying the way he did. I remember what one useless Alamajiri said once. His name is Maita Masule. He visited London. People want to go and see him. They were talking. the argument became very heated. Do you know what Mazi Masule said? He's now late. He said, are you telling me that our boys will send our boys to die for this oil and then we abandon it? That they will never do it. Mazi Masule, he's a statesman, ambassador extraordinaire, all these useless, hopeless accolades from the zoo, from Yoruba media especially. Always promoting mediocrity, always promoting rubbish. Rubbish, and all of you are paying a very huge price for it. That is why the police can get up and kill people, and the newspaper will write allegedly. Alleged. Oh dear me. Let's continue. Now, has anybody been able to tell me who? I'm checking the messages here. Nobody can tell me who Obasanjo's chief of staff was. No, they don't know him. How about Jonathan? Do you know him? Do you know Jonathan's chief of staff? Okay, how about since you don't know, let's bring it close. How about Yaradua? Okay, how about Jonathan's chief of staff? Do you know him? How come all of you now know Abba Kyari? You know Abba Kyari because he is the power behind the throne. You know him because, like Obiano and the Ibas and all the rest of them, when you want elections rigged for you, you go, you take off your cap, you kneel down, and they stand on top of you. If you're unfortunate, they will take you to the nearest bathroom and undress you and maybe wrestle you a bit and then pass you on to somebody in Sokoto to use you as well. And then after that one, they now pass you to somebody who is in Meduguri to use you. So you can no longer talk. That when they deploy army to your village, bring in police and ask them to kill your people, you can no longer talk because they have seen your nakedness in the north. Your fellow men have been using you in the north because you want to stay as a governor. That is the truth and they know it. We must continue. There was a letter that drew everybody's attention. And when this letter came out, a lot of people were complaining and saying, oh, how come an ordinary chief of staff would write this type of letter? But those that lacked reasoning said, oh, he is a powerful man. He is the gatekeeper. That they love that word, gatekeeper to the president. I laugh. Do you see why they coined the word presidency? Do you see why they have the word presidency all the time? Because nobody is in charge. For Abba Kyari to be there, wielding all the power that he's wielding, he needed the consent of people to be able to do so. The so-called cabal that they have around them. Those that knew that Buhari was dead, but they decided to cover it up because everybody saw it as an opportunity to loot. Remember how they stole money when Yaradua died? Oh my goodness. They went to Central Bank. They were offloading money in broad daylight, in hard currency. That's what they're doing now. But only now that they're more methodical, more organized. Because Abba Kyari was a very clever man. A very clever man. I give him credit for that. A very clever man. Very cunning. He is. Not clever in terms of intellect. No, of course not. For all that rubbish. That's saying. Abba Kyari signed a letter in his capacity, so they claim, as the chief of staff to the president, but we know as the de facto president of the zoo. He was writing to the Right Honorable Olufemi Hakim Gbajabiamila, who is the Speaker of the House of Reps. And the letter goes this way. COVID-19 airport screening. It has been brought to the Honorable Minister of Health they missed that attention, just a typo. Recently reported to this office that some members of the House of Representatives are refusing to subject themselves to medical screening at the airport. Are you aware? These airport screenings are our primary line of defense, and refusal by any citizen to subject to this test is a threat to our nation. Accordingly, you are kindly requested, this is an ordinary chief of staff, writing to the fourth man in line of succession. Say something happens to a president in the zoo, the vice takes over, which is Osibajo. Say something, God forbid, something happens to Osibajo, then Lawal or Lawan or whatever his name is, the Senate president takes over. Say something happens to him, then this man, Gbajabiamila, takes over. In the line of succession in Nigeria, There is no position for the chief of staff to the president. What gave Abba Kyari the audacity to be addressing the fourth in line this way? What gave him the audacity is because not only did he appoint Gbajabiamila as the Speaker of the House, he is actually the President of Nigeria. Are you following? He said, you are kindly requested, which is a very diplomatic way of saying you better buckle up, I remove you. And it was signed by Abba Kyari. He was concerned about airport screening. Isn't this letter supposed to be coming from the president himself if he's so angered, or from the Minister of Health? What has an ordinary chief of staff got to do with it? The only job he would have done is to maybe go to the typist and say, have you typed the letter for the president to sign? That's all he could have said. But he didn't say that. He actually signed the letter himself, asking the Speaker of the House that represents the people, directing him on what to do. Somebody who was not elected by anybody. An ordinary clerk in the office of the president. But because it is the zoo, and they run a customer system, he is now the all-powerful, all-conquering Abba Kyari. But God had other plans. You cannot kill Biafrans and go free if you like it or not. That is the way it is. That is the way it is. This was the same man to prove that Buhari is no longer alive. This was the same man that went to England and forged WAEC result for Buhari's name to be put on the ballot paper for 2019. He admitted it openly to a Yoruba newspaper, Tribune. Abba Kyari admits receiving Buhari's 1961 WASC certificate from Cambridge. And we know it is confidential. You don't go ask anybody. If you like, okay, send your father now to go back to your old school and ask them to give your father your school result and see if they'll talk to him. Especially in the West. I challenge anybody tonight. Send anybody you like. Send anybody you like to go and pick up your result and see what they will say to you. But here, Abba Kyari said he went to Cambridge and he picked up a certificate. He forged it and people were there clapping. He forged it with his 92 senior advocates of Nigeria defending him. A name is on the ballot paper, but the man is in a grave in Saudi Arabia. Only in Nigeria. No wonder these diplomats, they come and they take money and they leave. They say a bunch of wild beasts. What are we doing here? Abba Kyari went and received school certificate because there was controversy surrounding the eligibility even of the old Buhari in 2015 and the new one they brought in 2019. He said, don't worry. That was why they removed everybody from the court. We control the court, we control the army, we control the police. And when I speak to my Yoruba brethren, Yoruba brothers, can you see what is happening? Yeah, we've seen it all. My brother, what can we do? We've seen it all. Hey, not knowing that, I was the foolish one that in 2023, whilst I was busy trying to do all I can to save as many people as possible from the damnation that is the Zoological Republic. That is how corrupt they are. And the whole world knows. And the EU knows. A whole EU is felicitating with an ordinary chief of staff. Ordinary. Hey, that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. But we must continue. They held their secret ballot. They are still plotting it. They have given it to, what's his name again? King Gibe on a temporary basis. Let's see what is going to happen. But one thing is guiding them. They don't want they don't want the world, they don't want foolish Nigerians to know that Buhari is dead. So they are trying to cobble together a compromise. A journalist will report. In Aisha's camp is the first person. In Buba Marawa's camp is that person. Hey, but you claim Buhari is alive. A man who is a no-nonsense general. He's alive. And all these things are happening. He has not said anything. His friend died, he said nothing. And I keep asking, what justification do you have not to say anything? They'll say, oh, he's Baba go slow. Oh, dear me. And let me say one thing, and make it very clear to our Yoruba brethren. So I keep saying Yoruba all the time because they hold the key in terms of not just the number of people, but their media preponderance. They hold the key when it comes to media coverage and being able to open up things for the world to see. Yoruba did not feel sufficiently ashamed to say, how come that Osinbajo is being sidelined? Nobody mentions his name. Nobody knows where he is. If he's alive, if he's dead, nobody knows. If you ask questions, they bring somebody wearing a mask, a facial mask. When that person was inside with the actor they have now inside Aso Rock, they did not show us his face. But when he came out for them to show us Osinbajo's face, he's not wearing a black mask. He's the only one with a black mask. I've been asking if he's okay. Anyway, nothing is under the sun. Sooner than later, something will happen. Nobody was considered from Yoruba land. It is very, very clear that Abba Kyari has been seen in many settings. Even the EU can confirm, Germany can confirm where he got COVID-19, where he got the infection from. The world can confirm that the sort of, undertaking, that is normally the prerogative of the president, Abba Kyari is performing it. And people think that is normal. They think it is all okay. But we know it is not okay. And that is why we're exposing them before the whole world. For the world to understand. For the world to understand that the inactive presence of Jubril he has not said anything since his so-called, this powerful man died. You said something. Everybody came out to say, why can he not address people live? He cannot do it. Because he's a dummy. The one who said that is a dummy. The other one is trapped in Cuba. Without the presence of Abba Kyari, well, what can they do? Absolutely nothing. They're in a limbo. That is why they're running all over the place, helter-skelter, trying to see what they can do. Trying to see what they can do to cover up their crime. But they are being exposed, of course. That is what we are doing and will continue to do it. They have, despite their years in office, Fulani, every year they want presidency. Every year they want presidency. But there are countless number of children that do not go to school. These are breeding grounds for terrorism and future bandits. They have breeding ground in the north for terrorists and those who want to go into banditry. That is one thing. They only have 3 occupations in Alamajiri territory. You either go into politics, you pledge your allegiance to the British government, they make you one of their spies, they fast track you, you go into politics. That's number 1. Secondly, you can either choose, you have 2 other options, terrorism or banditry, which is Miyet Yala. You either choose to join a terrorist group or you join Miyet Yala, which is also terrorism but with cattle. Terrorism with cattle. Only 3 options they have. Only 3. Only 3 options they have in the north. And the majority of them are in the 3rd one, which is Alamajiri, which is a harvesting ground for terrorists and for bandits from Yetiala. And they're in the north. And they are the ones who are the president. They are the ones who are saying, oh, the north is backwards. But you have been in power. You have been squandering all the money on this earth, on this same north, and they are still backwards. Why can't Yoruba see this? Why can't Yoruba media see this? And Yoruba, if you're hoping on the oil that is coming from Biafra land, oil is now about $12 per barrel, and nobody's buying it. Are you aware? Nobody's buying the oil. I will explain that later. Nobody's buying the oil. In case you're thinking, oh, it is the oil, let us cling to the oil. I want to let you know that nobody is actually buying the oil. You have to develop your own economy. If you need oil, we'll give you oil for free. You need to be independent, stand on your own. Look at Baggy people. Baggy people, those that own Abuja. Baggy people are in Niger State. They are in Nasarawa. They are in Plateau. They are the ones that own Abuja. They are also in parts of Kaduna. Baggy, a very big tribe. But they are there, and the Fulanis came and consumed them. Consumed them. Consumed them. Why can't you stand on your own? So you're telling me that you are now going to live in a country where the president or the vice can only come from certain areas of the country. How about the rest? When will a Bachama person become the president of Nigeria? When will an Ibura person become the president of Nigeria? Have you asked yourself that question? When will a Jukun person become president of Nigeria? It will never ever happen. Is that what you want? Is that the future you want for your children? A future, a life of subservience. And I have been saying it about especially Yoruba Muslim. They are the worst, those from Kwara State. They are the problem. They are the problem. They are the problem because they have split personality, split loyalty. They don't know where they stand. When they are laughing of Oyo calls them, they attend. And then in the meeting with the laughing of Oyo, the Sultan of Sokoto will call them. Because I keep saying, people don't understand the dynamics of what is happening in Nigeria. The head of all Muslims, the supreme leader of all Muslims in Nigeria is the Sultan of Sokoto. What it means in very simple terms is that every Yoruba Muslim, their first loyalty is to Fulani, number one. That is why people have been saying this, and I find it to be true. And I hope that this Yoruba World Congress will rise above it. Intellectually, at least. Because that is why you'll be shocked by this. Since the emergence of Awolowo in Yoruba politics with Action Group, Yorubas have never ever voted for anybody else again apart from their own. Go and check the history of election. They will say we voted for Buhari in 2015 because your leader or somebody who wields a considerable influence, Tinubu, asked you to, that it will benefit you. You didn't vote for Buhari in 2015 because you loved the North, no. Because they promised you that the presidency will come back to you. Ask them, have you people ever before voted for anybody from Biafra land? Did you vote for Jonathan? No. When others were contesting, did you vote for Zeke? No. You never voted. Why am I saying this? The reason why I'm saying this is this. That people will be able to understand that unless you have Yoruba men and women willing to rise up above the current level of prejudice, unless you can get the Yoruba Muslim to actually jettison their loyalty to the Sultan of Sokoto, Nigeria will continue to be the way it is. It's as simple as that. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a Muslim. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is answerable to the Sultan of Sokoto. The same thing with the Speaker of the House. They are all of them answerable to Sokoto. That's something you need to understand. That is why an alliance between Biafra and Ududua will always be very difficult unless they rise above it, unless they rise above all these parochial considerations, unless they place intellect above every other sentiment that they may have, which we have done long time ago. The North are the ones ruling. Oh, the next president should be El Rufai, and maybe not El Rufai, it should be maybe Marwa. You people have been president after every 4 or 5 years. Yet you have the largest number of Alamajiri, children who are begging on the streets. Have you not seen them? Is that how a country is supposed to run? The EU was talking about Abakari, that he loved the North a lot. What have you done for the North? All the money they have pumped into northern Nigeria, what has happened? The only thing you got in return was Sharia law. That is the truth. And if you ask them to change, they will tell you no. And that is why we are exposing them. University education in Nigeria, to be honest with you, is a complete and utter waste. And no wonder the white people, Europeans, the whole world, the Chinese, they treat us the way they do. Some of you don't know they have brought in vaccine. Do you know they are vaccinating people all around Africa? Are you aware of that they are vaccinating people all around Africa?
People, the video that I've got...
I'm going to play it for you. They are vaccinating people. Our ignorance is too much. They are vaccinating people. Listen.
Already occurring
yes.
as a result of the trials.
He's saying, wow, he's saying
this video is
here because there are 2 French doctors that came to vaccinate the children at the school. And then
2 French doctors in Guinea-Conakry came to vaccinate the children. 2 French doctors. Because the French will say, if one president in Africa is dead, and the people don't know that he's dead, they're accepting a man wearing a mask that is Buhari. Let's go there and experiment with them. That's what they have done. So despite all the things, Samuel Eto'o is against what is happening, and Drogba said something. After all our words of condemnation, the French still sent their scientists and they are vaccinating. And why did they come? Because the Chinese are doing the same thing in Nigeria. So why can't the French come and go to Guinea-Conakry and be vaccinating people? That's exactly what they have done. That is what they have done. Do you see the mess we put ourselves in? Do you see we are Africans out of our own stupidity? If the video is everyone wanted to be circulated. Do you see what we have done to ourselves? They don't even need our consent. Somebody within the government of Guinea must have taken money as usual and said, oh, come and experiment with us. We don't give a damn, as they have done with the Chinese in Abuja. And then tomorrow you want China to respect you. That's why they're beating us to death in China. Do you see that thing I told you from the beginning? The problem that a black man has, it is his brain cells. The way he or she reasons is the problem. That you don't have electricity is how you reason. That you don't have water is how you reason. You don't have good roads is how you reason. Your reasoning capacity is impaired. There's something wrong with it. The French are testing vaccine on our children. The Chinese are doing the same thing all over this zoo called Nigeria. And we got some report that they are doing it in Biafra. And I said, I want to see the videos. I want to see the videos. I want to see it. I said, no, until you show me the videos, I am not going to believe you. That is the only reason why it appears as if things are normal in Biafra land. They said that they are there. They are experimenting. They are vaccinating people. They are testing their vaccine. And if you watch any credible news organization all over the world, they will tell you categorically there is no vaccine for COVID-19, but they are in Africa injecting our children. The French came because Abba Kyari Asorok that was crumbling, invited the Chinese to come because the Chinese came to Nigeria because stupid Nigerians cannot tell that their president the so-called president is dead, replaced by an actor. That's why the French had to go to Guinea. Send to hell with these monkeys in Africa. Who are they that we cannot inject them? And they came. And all we are doing is crying. And do you think CNN will cover it? CNN, they need vaccine immediately. So if you sacrifice Africans, so be it. We brought all this mess on ourselves because we have failed to reason properly. That is why we must make it a duty to always report the truth and be able to damn the consequences. We must speak the truth always. They came and they are lying. I told people before. Unless you open your eyes, you cannot see. There are some pictures which will be shared this evening of Asorok, the proper office. 2 offices in Asorok. You cannot see them take pictures there. Because that is the one that they are working on right now. Nobody can get in. You can't see anybody there anymore. Because Abba Kyari died with it. They have to demolish the door and bring in another bulletproof door with biometrics. That's what they're doing right now. Ask them, do you know they banned journalists from coming to Asorok? Are all of you aware, those who are listening, that they banned Nigerian journalists from reporting from inside Asorok? Did they tell you that? But that is what is happening. Because we've exposed them. They don't know which journalists will report to IPOB. That is why they have decided to, of course, ban all of them. the picture of the main conference hall, the picture of the president's private office. Ask them to go there to take a picture, they cannot. Ask them to go there to film anything live, they cannot. They can never ever do it. Never. They can never do it. That tells you all you need to know about all they know is to spend. Instead of spending money on Al-Majri, they spend money buying over Facebook Yoruba workers. They spend money on ambassadors. They spend money on consultants. They spend money on making the British very happy so they can retain power. That's all they do. Meanwhile, their children are dying on the streets. They you know, already made their recruits for terrorist groups and for Mietiala. That's all. Their children are there. It's in the news. Kanu to evacuate Al-Majri children to states of origin. It is there. In Nigerian newspapers. It has complete arrangements to evacuate them. When won't they be evacuated? This is tomorrow. These are terrorists spring up. Al-Banawis of this world, they are there. And you think your children will have peace and security in Nigeria? Is that what you think? With all this Al-Majri that is doing nothing, you think they'll have peace and security? Or you think that Boko Haram will ever stop? You are dreaming. You are dreaming. That means you don't know what terrorism is. And its influence, or should I say, how radical Islam fuels terrorism. You don't know. It is there. When you look at the coat of arms, it is different from the rubbish they've been showing you all over the place. It is different. Look at the offices. I'm asking Amaka to post the pictures so that the world can see it. Have they taken any pictures from this very setting? The answer is no. Why not? Because Abakari has the keys. And when they were cremating him, they cremated everything together, including his hand and his retina. You will see it there very, very clearly. Very, very clearly. It is very clear. And for those who are hoping on oil, it's our oil. It's our oil. You are pursuing Biafra. That is one thing they'll never tell you. Ask them, why are you against Biafra? They will tell you you're doing it because of oil. They will never tell you that you're doing it because of your freedom. They will say it's always because of oil. And you ask them, why do you want Nigeria to be one? They say God created Nigeria. It's God created oil. That's what I want to tell you. Nobody's buying oil from the zoo. Do you know that America is an exporter of oil? A net exporter of oil. Are you aware of that? Are you also aware that Russia is an exporter of oil? Are you aware? So who's going to buy it from you? People are moving to cleaner energy. Who's going to buy oil from you? The reason why you have this COVID-19, the reason why all those criminals got together to develop this very sickness to kill many people is because of what is happening to Earth's resources. You don't know that? People are diversifying away from fossil fuel, from carbon. They don't want it. This is a news from Bloomberg, so that you may know. You will know. Oh, dear me. Bloomberg is telling you that for Nigeria to survive, which is the break-even oil price, for Nigeria to survive, they need oil selling at $133 per barrel. That's their budget. For Nigeria to survive, for Nigeria to fund its budget, that's why they keep borrowing. And as you borrow, Kiari stole his own and left for the children. The idiot coming in now, King Gilbert will even steal more for the children as well. So you have nothing. You have nothing. The break-even price for Nigeria to survive, you need to sell oil at $133 per barrel, according to Bloomberg. Not even a local newspaper in the zoo. So you understand it. And what is oil selling at this week? One of the benchmark grade you have is Bonnet Light, which was why Britain decided to gang up and kill off Biafra anyway. That sweet crude Bonnet Light. They love it so much. It fell in the market to $12 per barrel. So with each barrel sold, Nigeria is losing over $120 according to their budget. That is why they are begging they're scavenging for money from everywhere. And you tell me that God doesn't know what he's doing. You think that God will abandon IPOB and Biafra? Your dream is in the scriptures. Anytime God used a people to punish his children, he will go back and inflict more damage on those people. That's what's going to happen to this zoo called Nigeria. You see, for that thing, for the war of 67 to 70, which was when God basically said to us, when God punished us for the sins of Azikiwe. I don't want to call him Nnamdi Azikiwe because I don't know how I can share a name with such a person. Because of the sins of Azikiwe and Nzobo, that's what we are paying for till this very day. Till this very day. Sins of one Nigeria. That was why God said, go and kill them. Kill them until they come to their senses. And now we have come to our senses. And you see what God is doing to the zoo. Two tricks, only two things. Believe in the Lord God Almighty as the only God, not two gods, only one. Secondly, know who you are and prepare to go back to the land that I have given to your ancestors. Only those two things. Because as I said before, and I'll keep preaching it, when God have chosen a people, like the house of Israel and the house of Biafra, he defines your territory. And God will tell you not to step outside that territory. If you try to step outside that territory, you're finished. Go and ask. Some of you read the Bible, the scriptures, the Torah, you don't learn nothing from it. Nothing. The holy book which I'm holding here is replete with events. God will tell a king of Israel, go to war with the Hittites. After that war, come back to Judah. You can't stay there. You can't take over their territory. After that very war, you come back. That was the same reason, that is the same reason why Israel never forced anybody to know the true God. Israel never preached the Torah to anybody, because the discovery of God is a private, personal experience. And you ask me, how do I come to this conclusion? Because in Biafra land as well, the Igbos never conquered anybody. They never went for any territorial expansion. Never. If you don't want to be a part of them, you can go. You're Igbo. You say, you wake up one morning and say, oh, I don't want to be Igbo today. They say goodbye to you. Goodbye. The same thing happened in Israel after the death of Solomon. The north said they're going to go to your tent, O Israel. Have you forgotten? You now had Samaria in the north and Judea in the south. Was that not what happened? And Israel divided into two. If you want to go, you go. Nobody's forcing you. The same thing happened. Did Israel, like all other people, embark, like the Egyptians, did they embark on any territorial expansion? The answer is no. The same thing with Biafrans. Never. You never force anybody to speak. Never. Why should you? Force people to speak. But in other places where there was conquest, in Yoruba land there was conquest. In the north, everywhere was ravaged. The Fulanis, they took the houses, and the town houses helped them to take over everybody else. There is a very huge difference. The zoo is sinking. Oil is retailing at $12 per barrel. And budget-wise, that is unsustainable unless they have sold everything to China already. That's not the suspicion. Because there was also a very, very compelling news that came out today. You people don't know what is happening today. You don't know, by the time the world is done with you, you will know that trusting Alamajiri to rule over you is the greatest mistake any people can make in their life. Any people can make in their life. The greatest. The greatest. You must understand this. The greatest mistake you can ever make in your life. You don't understand? It was published actually by Forbes. You all know Forbes. You know Forbes, don't you? Do you know what the headline is? Google it and read. 2 headlines is an assignment I want you to Google and to read. The first one is Nigeria's banner. Nigeria's banner oil. Banner is B-A-N-N-E-R, like a banner. Nigeria's banner oil, which is body light, hits $12. You can just Google Nigeria's oil hits $12. You see it, Bloomberg. Millions of barrels remain unsold. They sent out their ship to go and sell oil, and the ship came back with the oil. Nobody wanted to buy it. And you're telling me that God is not on the throne in heaven? That when we say that the zoo will fall, you thought we are joking? It is from the... Oh my goodness. I don't want to give you a secret. There is another news from Forbes called What is China doing in Africa? Go and read it. You people are go and read it. Those idiots are saying, oh, chief of staff is going to be this person, that person. They have sold you. They have sold you. You think that China is like the Europeans, that they will have mercy, that they will pity you? You are dreaming. China is looking for new territories to expand into. And they are afraid. They have seen how useless Africans are. That all they do is they say, I have PhD, SSD, GGD, rubbish. They know our brains are empty. That's why they have come. Go and read it. It's in Forbes. What the Chinese are doing in Africa. If at all you do anything with it. All they know how to do is village envy and jealousy and tribalism that has no meaning. In the midst of all of these things, people are discussing the chief of staff's position as if it is more important than that of the vice president. Where is your vice president? Where is Osibanjo? Where is him? Osibanjo, where is him? What have they done to him? Why are people not asking questions? Why are people not demanding to know where their vice president is? Why are you all fixated with chief of staff to the president? Because that person is the actual president. As simple as that. Osibanjo report to him. And you're telling me you're in a country. You are in a country. Asorok has diseased and crumbled. He is gone anyway. Crumbled beyond recognition. People allow themselves to be used. Yoruba papers, they see all of these things, but because of money, because of earthly considerations, they keep publishing and sustaining lies. People are sustaining a broad daylight lie. Before, in the presence of people, you're lying. What is that hole on the neck of this man? Nobody can explain. But it's Buhari. This man that is looking young like this, is it Buhari? No, he's not better. We don't mind this Buhari. Hey! Why won't the French come and experiment with you? Why won't the French come and experiment? Why won't the Chinese experiment with you? All they're doing is sending soldiers to go and kill. That's all. And when they kill a Biafran, we have shown in the video and the picture. The police have admitted that the person that shot the man is in hospital. A Yoruba people will write alleged. Alleged man allegedly shot to death in Ohafia. Tell me why I would want to be in the same country with people that write a headline in such a way. Somebody should tell me. You just can't wake up and start to hate a people. Of course not. There are people in Yoruba land, of course. Professor Kinta is one of them. Tell me why somebody will wake up. The police said, we have arrested the officer that shot the young man dead. And the newspaper editor is saying, allegedly. But they were busy writing. IPOB bought police station. It's police station. The world must know this. They are from Yoruba. And you keep asking yourself, what are they gaining from these things they're doing? It's all 2023. Because they see Nigeria as Fulani is the big brother. And the Yoruba don't mind serving Fulani as long as they give them something now and again. And I want the Yorubas to understand something. Yoruba, you have never chosen the leader of Nigeria before. It's already been chosen by the Fulani. That was why Shonekon they chose, albeit for a few days, I should say. They brought out Obasanjo, gave it to him. When they came back again, after they killed Abiola, they came back again. They looked around you, they said no. The Yoruba voted for Obasanjo to start with. Yoruba never voted for Obasanjo. Who voted? It's the same Biafrans voted for Obasanjo, a Yoruba man. The same Biafrans voted for Abiola. And I keep asking them, where is your hatred coming from? Where is your hatred coming from? Did Igbos not vote for Abiola? The Igbos not overwhelmingly vote for Basanjo. I want to ask Yoruba, where is your hatred coming from? From where? From where? Oh, you're afraid of competition. Oh, okay, I see. You're afraid of competition. But the world is about competition. You get the best out of people when they compete. Yoruba can stand on its own as an Oduduwa, a separate entity. This fear that Yoruba has for Fulani is irrational fear. So you prefer to serve the Fulani. Anything they give you, you take. Alamajiri, the people who are on the street, they don't go to school. Alamajiri. Are you not ashamed? People who are sophisticated, people that claim they're obeying, you are serving Fulani Alamajiri. And you want me to respect you? Of course not, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not like that. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite. I can't respect you. You are serving Fulani, you want me to respect you? Oh, no, God forbid, I can't do that rubbish. Others can, but not Nnamdi can. I can't do that nonsense. Any day you ever stand up like men and assert their right, then we know they've arrived. Look at Amotekum. How many days? It's collapsed. Completely gone. Bombs going off everywhere. Because Fulani, they understand. The day you join with Biafra, they are finished, they're gone. They're gone. Overnight, I'm telling you, before God and man, Yoruba will rise up tomorrow and say, we are aligning with Biafra. Fulani is gone. We chase them into the desert. But some of you from those, especially those from Kwara State, suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, you know you've been conquered. Your grandfather served the Fulani. Your father served the Fulani. You are serving them now. Your own children will also. As I cleverly read from somebody, some of them are serving. Some of them served Abakari, and their children will serve Abakari's children. Their grandchildren will serve Abakari's grandchildren. Once in a while, they give you maybe not even the one you want. They'll go and get an efulefu like Shonekon and bring him. Dazzle him for a few years and toss him away, and the power will go back to them. Nobody is coming out and saying what the Fulani has done to Nigerian economy. No one is saying it. Oh, we are fighting corruption. Oh, they are whalers. Whalers are whaling. Corruption is fighting. Rubbish. They have run the economy into the gutter. And nobody's saying anything. All of it is, chief of staff is a very powerful position. How about the vice president? Where is he? Because there is nobody inside Asorok. Asorok is gone. Completely gone. There is nobody there. Those who are pretending they don't know tonight will remind them, you are all going to go. Amaka, please get ready. We are going to go. Those of you with Twitter, you are going to go to your Twitter after this program. If you are not following me already, you are missing a lot. Go and follow me on Twitter at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I don't know how many thousands we have now following. I think it's about 80-something thousand, because the DSS set up a few fake accounts for your information. So don't go to those ones. They set up a few fake accounts. Don't go to them. Mine is at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. All one word. At Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Go there. Join us in what we are doing. Join us because we are going to tweet very important people tonight. You know, do you know what got me thinking? Is EU saying, oh, he's a very strong man. He's this. He's a statesman. Hey, how can somebody who is a secretary to the president be a statesman? How is that possible? Chief of staff, or not chief of staff? Statesmen are like foreign ministers. Statesmen are ambassadors, people who are schooled in what is called statecraft, and they can demonstrate it. Those are the people you call statesmen, ex-heads of state. People have made a telling contribution. Not the chief of staff to a president, a clerk to a president. So when EU said that, I said now is the time to remind the whole world, not minding we are battling COVID-19, a very bad, terrible virus. It's time to tell the world, especially tonight. If you don't know how to tweet, ask somebody who is close to you. Or the best you can do is to just follow me and retweet. That's all. If you don't know how to do it. Follow, go and open an account. Twitter account, follow at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, follow Amaka Epo, follow Emeka Gift, follow Radio Biafra, follow Biafra Television, follow all the influential people that we have, and simply click on the tweet. That's all you have to do. It's not difficult. And I can assure you that Twitter is more potent even than Facebook. I can assure you. This evening, we are going to do something very credible. Or should I say incredible. A very simple assignment for everybody that have a Twitter account if you don't go and open one. Tonight, we are going to tweet 4 Yoruba media houses, only 4. We are going to start by asking them a very simple question. We are going to tweet Channels TV, all of us, AIT, Punch, and Nation. We are going to ask their Yoruba editors a very simple question. And we are also going to add in the tweet, we are going to tweet the EU, the UK, US, Africa Union, the US State Department, Transparency International, Amnesty. We are going to include Israel. Saudi Arabia is there because they're the ones backing the zoo. We are going to also tweet the CIA and the US Army. Why are we doing this tonight? Listen very, very carefully, please. We are now laying the dynamite at the very foundation of Asarok. We want to blow it up with reason and common sense. We are going to unveil a strategy that will shock the world. They will be saying to them, I thought you said they are miscreants now. What's happening here? The miscreants are about to tear down the house. As a proud miscreant number 1 here, we are about to bring Asarok down, even in the midst of a pandemic. We are going to tweet the whole world this night. And one particular girl, I make an exception. Her name is Adeola Fayehu, a very evil girl. Typical daughter of Satan. An evil girl. Very, very evil. We are going to add her in the... Find her Twitter handle. She used to work for Sahara Reporters before. I don't know what she's working now. A chameleon. Evil girl. They see light, they say it's dark. They see white, they say it's black. They see blue, they say it's yellow. Hey! Journalism. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That young woman called Adeola Fayehu, add her to this very tweet. Add her to it. Very, very simple. We are going to tweet only 1 picture and 1 video. 2 tweets. 1 picture, 1 video. I want to ask all those ambassadors in Abuja, US ambassador, that I want to ask them. The Buhari you claim you knew in 2015, did he used to breathe through a hole in the neck? Simple question, isn't it? Very simple. Can you please confirm that the Buhari you knew before used to breathe through a hole in the neck? Then let them answer us. Since they don't want to respect themselves and do what is right, give me a referendum. That's what I'm asking for. They said no. Now, we are finally going for the jugular. And you see what's going to do. Let me say, of course, we are very savvy. I want to see how they're going to regulate of it. Everywhere, we will bombard you with those pictures until you issue a statement. You are now going to tell us in which capacity Abba Kyari was serving to deserve a statement from the EU. Tonight, we ask the EU, who is this man with a hole in his neck? Who is this man that the eyebrows are for? Who is this man that the eyelids are for? If it's Buhari, why is he wearing a mask? Simple. We are going to ask everybody. Tomorrow we are going to continue. Washington Post, New York Times, every Boston Globe, every influential paper and TV station in the world. We want to ask them a simple question. Does your own president also breathe from the neck, a hole in the neck? Very simple. You see them begin to crumble. Yeah, I said to them, we will decimate you. And that started. Some of you look at these things and think, oh, maybe it's just Twitter. No, it goes a long way. It goes a very long way. You will see what is going to happen to the zoo. Watch and see what will become of the zoo. We are going to tweet tonight. No sleeping. The hardcore will be awake. We are going to tweet. I want to ask the owner of channels. We want to ask the owner of AIT. We want to ask the people writing for Punch newspaper and for Nation. And that's very Trump, Adeola. We want to ask them. The Buhari you knew before, did he have a hole in his neck? Simple question. And Yoruba media will be forced to answer. Did he have a hole in his neck? 2 times he appeared with a hole in his neck. His so-called friend that got WAEC result for him from Cambridge died. He never said anything. Instead, it is the presidency. What utter rubbish is that? Now you will see. Hey, they'll be panicking now. In fact, the actor they have now is about to flee. You know, Jubilee said he's not coming back. He's in Cuba. He can't come anywhere. That's what I'm telling in Cuba. He can't come back. I don't know who they shot dead and buried in a shallow grave. I don't know who they killed and buried in a shallow grave in Abuja. They said it's a backyard. In a grave that cannot take a toddler. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. And that is why they're afraid of IPOB. Now it's still why they're scared. When are you going to stop this? We have been on this topic now for a while. When are you going to stop? You have been going to church for a while. When are you going to stop? You've been going to the mosque for a while. When are you going to stop? As I said, you've been flushing your toilet with bucket. You go downstairs, you fetch a bucket of water. You climb upstairs or 4 flights of stairs to go and flush toilet upstairs. When are you going to stop? We are preaching the gospel of heaven. And tonight, what this Twitter is not, I'm not saying Twitter will bring them down. No, we are just laying we are digging up the foundation and putting the dynamite in. At my order, we'll press the button. It will go up in flames. We know all the nonsense, all your all the police harassment, trying to provoke me to go to war when I'm not ready. All the killing and all that. You think we don't know? I know those tricks. That was how you got to Ojukwu in 66 and 67. That's how you got him. He said the killings in the north. Britain advised you, start killing them now, so they will go to war prematurely. And of course, our leader did. They have cut our transmission. I don't know what they're doing. I can't understand why they're doing this. We stream and they cut it. These people are terrible. They are panicking. Everywhere there is fear now in the zoo. They have told them, we will give you more money. They are cutting our transmission. They are cutting it once again. They are cutting it. They are panicking. This is in trouble. They are cutting it. As we started, and they saw people coming, they did something on Facebook. Is it going to save them? Now I'm giving directions as to how we are going to attack them. You see, I'm looking at my monitors here. I'm looking at it here. They are cutting it. Somebody is cutting it. Somebody is cutting our transmission. I can see it now. It's come back now. It's green once again. Saboteurs everywhere. The Nkwobi is about to come to an end. The Nkwobi, no more in Asrock. Tonight, we are going to ask every influential journalist around the world. We'll tweet to them. We'll ask them the simple question, not much. Please, dear journalist, can you tell us if your president also breathes through a hole in the neck? Like this monster we have here. He is the Nigerian president. His name is Muhammadu Buhari. Does your own breathe from the neck? You saw what's going to happen. You know diplomats. Now they will know. You know, our strategy is very simple. Very, very simple. So simple, you'll be thinking, oh, how come we didn't think about this before? It doesn't matter how many troops they bring in. Their end is nigh. We are just one picture and one video. That small boy saying he went to school, University of America and Britain. I want diplomats to sit all over the world. And I will say to them, is this the man you've been meeting, claiming he's Nigerian president? Is it this one? If you see him again, you arrest him because he's a fraud. His name is Jubilee Asudani. He is a fraud. We are going to deal with this. Complete decimation. They're thinking, just to do simple social media. Not much. Only social media. And they are unraveling. They are unraveling everywhere. Everywhere. They are lying. Have you heard from Buratai? The answer is no. You have it everywhere in the paper. They killed 800 terrorists, 900. But it's a lie. It is a complete and utter lie. It doesn't matter what Facebook does. It doesn't matter what the streaming, of course, we've dropped them streaming company. They are gone anyway. It doesn't matter what they do. It's absolutely irrelevant what they do. The world knows that IPOB is on a march, a very deadly march that will result in the coming of Biafra, or everything will perish. They know it. They know it. As they're dancing now, from tomorrow morning, the calls will start coming to the foreign ministry. We received this picture with the hole in the neck. Is it true? Is your president sick? From tomorrow to answer questions. Very simple move. Simple, isn't it? Every journalist in the world that is influential will get it. Every station will get it. We will. They know us. Once we start something with its IPOB, we never stop until we get the result. You see what is going to happen to the zoo. I want them to start asking questions now. But where is Buhari? They'll bring him out maybe tomorrow or next or somebody, and he'll be miming what is called miming. Somebody will be speaking and he'll be moving his mouth to mimic that very person. Will find out, of course. And they'll ask him, but when did you heal the hole in the neck? What condition were you suffering from? They are gone. They are gone. That very little girl called Adeolafayu. Show her the picture and the video and ask her in her heart of hearts if she thinks that very person is Buhari. We are issuing our initial tweet this evening. Everybody must join me at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as we lay the dynamite underneath House Rock to bring it down. And as they are lying through their teeth about what they are doing in Borno, the truth is beginning to emerge. Boko Haram is killing them and is chasing their commanders away. Are you listening? Boko Haram have now sacked a village in Yobe. They said they killed the key. You see Nigeria, they are very strong. They're high in the sky, you're throwing bomb. They said Burata is there fighting, but they fly up very high. They cannot engage on the ground. They drop bomb and they fly away. Cowards. But if it's civilians in Biafra land, you will see them. They're very strong. With civilians, they are very, very powerful, very, very strong. But when they meet armed men in the north, they throw a bomb from 70,000 feet and they run away. And they bombed a place, and after that, Boko Haram now returned, and they have now taken a village from them. They have now taken a village from them, from the zoo army. They will not report it. They won't report it. And Buratai is still on his way by road. He's trekking all the way to Niger Republic. He is trekking to Niger Republic. He is going. He is no longer coming back. That I can categorically assure you. The troops have taken over a town inside the Yobe. Inside the Yobe. That they claim they are going to flush them out. Give us 2-3 weeks. But look at what ordinary Chad did. And look at what they have done. They throw a bomb from 70,000 feet from an airplane. They ran away. And now Boko Haram came on the ground to look for them, and have taken a village where they're hiding in Yobe. It is there for the whole world to see. And the mainstream newspapers will not publish it. They will not publish it because they know it is the truth. They can never, ever publish it. An Enche will come, whatever his name is, that big liar, big fat liar. He will lie and tell you, oh, Boko Haram is on the run. He's on the run. The next day you will hear that they have taken over a town. And as they are squabbling as to who will be their chief of staff, the main reason why the shambolic, the deceitful burial in Abuja did not happen in Borno is because those that they groomed, Miyetti Allah, have invaded the community in Dusinma, in Dansuma, and Safari local government areas of Katsina State. Even in Katsina State, where they claim Buhari comes from, Miyetti Allah is there killing people. They killed 34 residents. Talk about feeding a baby crocodile and will come back and swallow you whole. Ordinary Miyetti Allah. They are now competing with Boko Haram as to who is a more deadly cult of killers. Miyetti Allah. That Garabache, who came on national television and said that Miyetti Allah are legitimate stakeholders in the government. Can you believe such rubbish? Legitimate stakeholders in the government? Legitimate stakeholders in a government. Can you believe such rubbish? They have gone to Katsina States, which is the man fighting terrorism. Buhari, of course, is dead in Saudi Arabia, replaced by Jubril. His state is under attack. Will they report it? The answer is no, because it is the zoo. They want a presidency 2099. That's all they're looking for. Everybody wants to be president. Everybody wants to be Abba Kyari now, isn't it? Because they know that is where the power lies. That is where the power lies. They will, you heard one day that they've caught Burata where he's running, trekking. Have you heard from him? Why he said this is a man before ordinary to go and kill civilians. He will appear on in front of camera on a video talking how they're going to conquer the South. Now he claims he's in a battlefront. You don't hear from him anymore. He has escaped. This is the country you want to belong to? Is this the Nigeria you wish to belong to? I'm asking you. They said it's updated. The place is called Gaidam local government area of Yobe State. That's where the war is happening. But they know half are killing innocent people. They know half are killing innocent people. They cannot fight. This is a government of propaganda, aided and helped by Yoruba Gota media. And they will pay dearly for it. I warned them before they didn't listen. When the terrorists came and took over their forest, their eyes opened. It will happen to them again. And this time there will be no condolence. I'm telling you the truth. And as we are dealing with Efulefus in the West, we have even hardened hardcore Efulefu in Biafra land. Hardcore. In Hope Uzodinma. He said he's going to rename Imo State University as a tribute to his Oga, Malam Abba Kyari. And let me tell him something, maybe when he was in Lagos doing 419, because that was his job, he used to be called obtaining by tricks. He was a 419er in Lagos. You know, these days people who don't have any morals anymore. Any idiot can come up. Once you're in political power and you can share money, people just start following you. It doesn't matter how you emerge. Once you go to the north and you pull down your boxer shorts and they razzle you, you come back and they make you a governor that you're made. People don't care anymore. They don't care anymore. Hope Uzodinma said he's going to rename Imo State University as Malam Abba Kyari. We ask him to try and see. The only thing saving him is COVID-19. Once the COVID-19 is over, then he will find it very hot in Imo State. Very, very hot. And he knows. He knows that very well. It's very, very hot. Let me see how many troops they will send to come and save you when the time comes. A criminal. A criminal. This is what Abba Kyari has been doing to democracy. This is what that was why, that is why greed is not good. He went to Germany to usurp the job of the Minister for Power and Mines, whatever the portfolio they have. Idiotic portfolio they have. There they got him. And put COVID-19 in the idiot. Came back and spread it. And now he's dead. You want to do whatever. He thought he had arrived. I can do anything I like. And he wanted to even run in 2023. Tinubu is in for a surprise, and the Yoruba. Write it down. Today's date. What's today's date? 20th of April, 2020. Write it down. People must know this very day and the time in the broadcast. So when it happens, they will take it out and show you. Hope Uzodinma said he's going to make Imo State University that Mbakwe built. Oh dear me. He's going to call it Abba Kyari University. Come and name it now, let's see. Even Jonathan, with every goodwill, tried to change University Unilag to Abiola. The people said, no, it won't happen. Talk less of you, this thing. Okay, we'll see now. When the time comes, come and put it, let's see. You will go back to your 419 that you used to do before you went into politics. These are the idiots that they groom for us in Biafra land to go into politics. He was in Lagos, stealing from people. Like his predecessor. Exactly the same thing they were doing in Lagos. Stealing from people. They go and, you know, this foreign is the British advise them very well. Go and pick their useless criminals and make them governors. That's how you control them. And that's what they're doing. And he thinks he's going to get away with it. He is dreaming. He is joking. He is joking. Hope Uzodinma is joking. And whilst we're on the topic, the real granddaddy of Efulef is Onyama. Geoffrey Onyama. He came from a lineage of traitors and saboteurs. And he listened and said he's going to evacuate our people from China. He doesn't. I've been keeping very quiet for him. He's not done it. But South Africans are removing their people. Everybody is leaving China with their people. This very man is still there. All he's saying is that Abba Kyari was my best man, godfather to my son. These are the idiots that you have from Igbo land who are in Lagos, in Abuja, also messing themselves up. These are the idiots. He was your friend and godfather. But this was the man that sent Operation Python Dance 1, 2, 3. For those who are crying for Abba Kyari, I feel sorry for all of you. May what befell Abba Kyari victims also befall you. Abba Kyari was a cold-hearted, brutal murderer. As soon as the day I exposed their secret, that thing there is not Buhari, that was the day he decided that I must die. Abba Kyari. And somebody is telling me that he was a good man. Hey! That is fear. That is the person of Jeffrey Onyama. He is godfather to my son. Everybody want to pander to a few badly educated Fulani criminals. Because that's how you derive your political power. You debase yourself because of wealth, because of money, because of influence. And the day they knows you, all these idiots that have been running around in Imo State, if you call a child now in a nursery school, who is the governor of Imo State? You can remember. They say Simon Mbakwe. They were just born yesterday. Because what is good is good. You can't cover it. We still remember Dr. Michael Lokpara. We remember Simon Mbakwe. What is good is good. All these idiots that they bring, I don't know where they recruit them from. I don't know from where. What, as I said, they pass them from one man to the other. They do male prostitution in the north. They give them, they say, okay, go, we'll give you a ticket. That's it. And they come back. We are in Pampas. And they come back and telling you that the governor, His Excellency, these idiots you're looking at. Unbelievable. There's something, abomination upon abomination that is happening in that very place. Very, very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. Unbeknown to these idiots, the people that bring the monster that is coming in now, thinking if I will not be here, he will not, because we've started tonight to demolish the whole place. I want to ask every head of state around the world, this thing breathing through the hole, is it the Buhari you met before? Can't you ask them what he's suffering from? Why he has a hole breathing from like a character in a Hammer House of Horror movie? They'll ask him, where did he get this hole from? Who are you? Let's see you again. Can you come? Want to see you? And he cannot go. He cannot travel abroad anymore. As I told him, I will cage you inside that rock. You can't come out again. You are a prisoner. All of you that concocted this, all of you are prisoners. It doesn't matter how many diplomats you bribe. If you like, go and buy a private jet for the U.S. ambassador. That lady that just came in, it doesn't matter. You people you are doomed. You're finished. You're finished. If you have any brain in your skull, you know how Zoo people are, Nigerians, you know how they are. Just call for a sovereign national conference as an excuse and use it to, all of you can then run away to enjoy your money. Because if you think that China is giving you an assurance, nothing will happen. After all, Abacha was there as a very brutal dictator and nothing happened for a while until it was gotten rid of. You will see all of you will go, you all go to jail. For this fraud, all of you to jail, or you will die. You either die or you go to jail. All of you that have cabal are moving up and down like idiots, all of you will go down. Because now the eyes of the people have opened. They now listen to Radio Biafra. Their eyes are now open. Their eyes are now open. You can no longer deceive them. You can no longer deceive our people. And why am I concerned? There is a headline in some of the Yoruba newspapers. IPOB condemns alleged killings in the south. Alleged killings. Alleged. People are dead. Some are in the mortuary. Some have been buried, and you're saying alleged. And you want me to be in the same country with you? You want me to like you? You want us to be friends? No, your behavior is appalling. What Yoruba journalists are doing is just absolutely soulless and appalling. And somebody has to say it. There is no need being diplomatic at all, at all, at all. There's another one I don't want to give him cheap publicity, saying video showing Biafra secessionists. Can you believe that? Let's ask them who created Nigeria. So you are angry that black people want to create a country or want to return back to their old country, but you are happy that a white man came and created a country for you. Everybody's happy. You're killing people because of what a white man created. I don't understand it. And later on you complain and you cry and you say, oh, that thing was bad. They're racist. You brought the racism upon yourself. You brought the racism upon yourself. There is a situation report actually in Ohafia that the army came, they patrolled and they left and they are still there. A lot of people are injured and are in hospital. SARS came as well and started doing their usual SARS thing that they do. Today they say we've disbanded SARS. The next day they're still working. A country of deceit and liars, and it will consume all of you. Everybody, if you listen and you don't do anything, it will consume you. Go back to your areas and start organizing yourselves to take back your land. Go back to your hometowns, organize yourselves to take back your land. Or else, Fulani will drag all of you down and destroy all of you in the process. We now have some announcements to make. We have come to the end of the very normal programming. We now have some announcements to make pertaining to just IPOB. I just want to say that I'm impressed with how the feeding program is going. The palliatives are distributing all over Biafra land. I am happy with how they are doing it in Delta State, and I'm sure I will also be happy with what they have done in Anambra. I am not happy with what happened in Imo State. I've been told that some coordinators have turned into rice distributors. Our coordinators, some of them are now distributing rice. They have started rice business. They have brought in the same character of the zoo into IPOB, and I will not have it. I want a full audit. I want to vet everything that has gone on with the food that we have provided so far. The people I'm happy with are those in Delta who already did very well. I think our boy is tomorrow. I don't know if it's today, but I saw Umunede. Very, very good. We like what is happening. I saw Ikotek Mene very good. I saw Uyo also very, very good. I hope Anambra will be good also, but Imo State was very, very shambolic. I don't know what is happening. Some of our coordinators are now rice dealers. They have turned into petit Dangote, baby Dangote, some of them. They are now selling rice. The rice we gave them to give to the poor masses to eat and be alive for us in this difficult period. Some coordinators are actually having fun and distributing rice. They will be held to account. We are not here to tolerate any evil. We have propagated, we have preached this very gospel this evening. And I must thank each and every one of you for listening. But after this very broadcast, we are going to tweet. We must tweet tonight. Follow somebody you know, tweet very well, and simply retweet. That's all. We're asking a very simple question. Is this man here with a hole in the neck the Buhari you met? That's all. Is that the one you know? With the Ibrahim? Does he have 4 eyelids? Does he have 4 eyebrows? That's all. This character here with a hole in the neck that breathes from the neck. Who is he to us? Tell us. Because we don't know. And then that is the way we are planting the dynamite into the zoo as Orokan is going to collapse. And as always and without hesitation, we proclaim very proudly that Biafra is our religion, that here on Radio Biafra is where we worship, because Elohim in heaven is our God. I thank you for listening, and from me, from here, it is good evening.